Hello again, everybody. So today's video is going to be a bit different than normal. It will be an unboxing, but it's not going to be about the 60s and 70s era figures. Instead, it's going to be about the 1982 to 1995 era figures. When I was little, and that's coming from a 15-year-old, my dad handed down his original figures. There was some like 6 or 7 figures. I presume that at least 1 or 2 figures didn't survive my childhood. I know that Ambush, half of him is missing. I have his legs, and I know I used to have his torso and upper half in general, but those went missing a while back, and I can't find them. I've started to sort of build up my armies, and I recently figured out that 3 of my 5 Cobra figures were actually Joe's, so I've started to beef up my Cobra team. I'll be unboxing some that I've always wanted. I've grown up watching the cartoon on YouTube and looking through old catalogs and junk, and I think that I really wanted this for a long time. A little disclaimer, I'm sorry that I'm not being upbeat and super loud in the video, but half the house is asleep at the moment, so I'm keeping it a notch down. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start to open the box off camera because I am a little confused by how to open it due to that just wrapping of paper and tape. I'll be right back. So, I got the paper off, and it appears it's 2 USPS boxes that have been taped together. So, I'm gonna crack this open, and hopefully they packaged it well. I heard rattling inside, so I'm a tad worried about that. Today I've got dual braid going. Sign. I've got some poking out right up here, which you can't really see. I'm going to get a better camera angle real quick. Alrighty then. So I've repositioned the camera, and as you can see, my first sight upon opening this is seeing a hole poked out here, and seeing that poking out there. That looks like the end of the main gun. Oh, they did not package this well at all. They slapped it in a grocery bag and threw in a small portion of paper. I hope nothing broke. Oh no, I hope the tail fins aren't stressed. Okay, these are actually a near mint set of tail fins. That's good. Check and see. Cockpit, pretty good shape. The aircraft's actually in really good shape. Of course, one missing landing gear. The gun is bent, and I bet you that was from shipping because I don't remember that being in the listing. I'm going to reposition this, and I'll fully review this aircraft after I open the smaller package. Alright, so before I actually fully review the aircraft, I want to go over this figure lot I bought. It should contain at least 1 vintage Joe, along with some Star Wars and what other have you. Campbell. There it is. Crack that open. Right away you can see it's got a lot in it. I'm gonna dump this out and see what all's inside. Most of this lot is going to be later figures from the G.I. Joe Extreme line, but there's a couple really nice things in here, so I figured I'd pick it up. So, here you get a pretty good overview of the lot. The main reason I bought it was for Gung Ho, along with Hoth Luke. This guy, I can't remember his name, from the Indiana Jones series. And then this strange, newer Cobra Commander figure. When does it say he was produced? 2004. I'm not a fan that he's got such a strange outward stance, but, I mean, an interesting figure. We got vintage Luke here from the looks of it. Let's see, yep. Copyright 1980 or 1986. I don't own many Star Wars figures, so, or actually any Star Wars figures that are vintage line, so that'd be interesting. And then Gung Ho. He was the main reason I bought the lot to begin with. I didn't notice that his hip piece was broken. But he's not in too bad shape. Relatively low play wear. In fact, his joints are extremely tight, like he's never played with. Apart from his knees. His knees are a little loose, but the rest of him is almost mint. The bottoms of his shoes are pretty good off. Okay. So, pretty good pickup there. Now, I'll bring in the mystery aircraft. Yes, I bought a Rattler. I've always wanted one. I've also always wanted a Sky Striker, but that's out of my range at the moment. I picked this one up cheap, and I may actually pick up another one for even less soon. I've bought a variety of parts to restore it. Also, something I forgot to mention. I will be putting the names in the description of all the people who have helped me build up the parts into pieces, and of course the Wild Weasel for this Rattler. Thank you all. This is one of the sort of like vehicles I thought I'd never have but always wanted. As an unexpected twist, I received a package from a friend of mine. Apparently it was delivered to neighbors, and they just brought it over, so I'm gonna crack this one open as well and show you what's inside. This one should have more G.I. Joe stuff in it. Let's crack this open. Make sure there isn't a note. Alright. That bubble wrap out of the way. First, we've got what looks like a file card and a figure. Looks like Snake Battle Armor and Serpentor. And a pile of new Cobra Troopers and Star Wars figures. Okay, he sent more than I expected. I'm gonna open these up and lay them out. so that you can get a better idea of what's going on. So here's what he sent me. I've been trading with Gage Messer back and forth for a good while. I'm going to try to wrap this up quick because people are starting to get more active in the house and I don't want there to be too much noise in the background. The top row was all gifts from him. 2 Cobra Troopers, a Cobra Officer, 3 Star Wars figures, and a 1990s little cloud car, which I think that's kind of cute. And then, he also sent things that were part of the trade we did this time. We trade back and forth quite often. He sent the Snake Battle Armor, 2 damaged Serpentors, to sort of merge into one decent figure. And then he sent this Blast-Off figure, which I find quite interesting. It's very colorful. I would guess it's one of the 90s figures, but I haven't had a chance to really check it out yet. In fact, I'm going to pull it out and check out the file card, and the figure. He's got an interesting assortment of weapons here, because he has, what was that, like an MP5 if I remember right? Along with a knife. The handle and blade sort of like profile makes me think of a German Kar 98K bayonet, but it's got a slightly slanted hilt. And then it has these 2 large weapons. One of them is obviously a projectile firing weapon, but I don't see any projectiles, so I'll have to search around, find out what they look like, and buy some. It looks like this figure's helmet comes off. Ooh, that's a tight fit. What's underneath? What's underneath? Answer is pretty good shape figure, apart from a giant rub on his nose. But that is a really nice shape head. I'm gonna slap that helmet back on. You can actually see where his eyebrows have rubbed inside the helmet because they left black marks. That's kind of funny. His nose too. Pop that helmet back on. He'll be going straight into action. Blast Off. Flamethrower Trooper. File name, Thompson, Jerry D. Primary military specialty, flamethrower. Secondary military specialty, firefighter. Goes hand in hand. Birthplace, Kirkwood, Missouri. Grade, E4. I quite like that figure. And then, I really like the file cards because they have a small section of card back on the back. I tell you what, I really like that figure. And of course, I'm really stoked about that Snake Battle Armor. It has all of its attachments, except it does have all of them, except it's missing 2 of the little wrist rings, so that the extra weapons can be pegged into his back. But considering the amount of stuff Gage sent me, I am really happy this figure has, all the accessories, so that Snake Battle Armor will be going straight into use. I'll likely put one of these 2 broken Serpentors in there as a sort of like dummy figure. I'm going to swap the hips on these 2, and I think I'll swap the legs as well, because this one has slightly sturdier legs than that one. So, it would appear that my camera stopped recording either around the time I went over Snake Battle Armor or the oddball Cobra figures. So I'll be going back over these, and I'll try to keep more attention to how much time my recording has. And then, he also sent these two Serpentor figures. The one has had its head painted black. I'm gonna take the legs and hip off of the worst of the two Serpentors and move it to the other figure. Both of them are the later version that don't have the painted neck, but honestly I think that's more to my preference. Now, something I'm really happy about are those Cobra figures over there. I'm gonna make a cut right here, and I'll be right back. Alright, so Gage sent a couple of really, or a set of really nice figures. He sent 2 Cobra Troopers and a Cobra Officer. I checked, and the helmets are removable. As you see here, I pulled it off, set in his hand. Really happy about that. The Cobra Officer came with this little silvery knife rubber banded to his hand. I'll likely give that to one of the troopers if I can. I really like the detail on these figures, and they're also close in size to the vintage figures, and close in construction. Thighs share a lot in sort of construction with the vintage figures, and I'm extremely happy about that because they'll fit right in. They've also got the double jointed knees, so they can do a lot more crazy stuff than the vintage figures can. And they've got jointed feet, which I found interesting. Great for stop motion animation. They have red masks, black helmets with an eye slit. They wear a balaclava underneath. They have 2 red grenades molded onto the torso. And they have this sort of webbing set that's pretty underpacked for, equipment vest, but I guess that's decent for Cobra. Both troopers are missing their rifles, but I'll either 3D print or find some online. But I am really happy about these. I was also looking at buying some of the newer figures online, so it's quite fitting. And these match perfectly with that Cobra Commander I got earlier, with the black and red scheme, so that worked out pretty well. I'm going to make another cut right here, and then I'll talk about the Star Wars figures. Alright, so we've got at least one bounty hunter. I can't remember his name, but I remember him quite well from the cartoon series and what have you. And then we've got this figure. If I remember right, he was either from the Rebellion or he was in Mos Eisley. And then we have Hoth Luke here. I'm not a big fan of these newer Star Wars figures, but they will certainly be going into action since Gage sent them to me. I'm thinking this one was called like Bosk or something. I'll probably end up having them as sort of extras in the background of G.I. Joe stuff. Who knows? I know that in particular, they'll be going side by side with this vintage Luke I got today. And who knows, maybe I'll end up getting more. I did realize, after I had cut the video and all that the Cobra Commander back here that I got, the Cobra Commander says made for the McDonald's Corp. So I'm guessing it was a Happy Meals toy. But honestly, that's better than most Happy Meals toys they have, so, I'm actually quite happy about that. Have to give a thanks to literally everyone that's supplied parts and pieces for this video. as I've severely beefed up my Cobra forces, if not with a few too many main characters. But I am extremely happy about that Snake battle armor and the Cobra troopers here that Gage sent. The Rattler will certainly even the odds when it comes to firepower. And overall, this was a really good mail call. I thank you all for watching. I'm sorry for the false alarm a short time ago about ending the video. I did not expect to get the third package, but I'm very happy I did. This has been Sam's Vintage Repairs. See you next time. And remember, all hail the Cobra Commander.